In a shocking turn of events, Bulls star Nikola Vucevic has just dropped a bombshell about the team's future. Is this the beginning of the end for Chicago's championship dreams? Today, we're diving deep into Vucevic's controversial comments, the Bulls' questionable moves, and what this means for one of the NBA's most storied franchises. From potential trades to locker room drama, we're covering it all. If you're a Bulls fan or just love NBA drama, you won't want to miss this. Stay tuned to find out if Chicago is on the brink of a full-blown crisis. Welcome to Chicago Bulls News, your go-to source for the latest updates on the Windy City's favorite team. Today we're diving deep into some breaking news out of the Windy City. The Chicago Bulls are once again making headlines, but this time it's not for their on-court performance. Instead, it's their star center, Nikola Vucevic, who's stirring the pot with some surprisingly candid comments about the team's direction. But before we get into the juicy details, make sure to slam that like button and subscribe to the channel for all the latest NBA news and analysis. Now, let's break down this developing story. Nikola Vucevic has been a cornerstone of the Bulls roster since his acquisition from the Orlando Magic in 2021. The two-time All-Star has been a reliable presence in the paint, averaging a double-double and providing much-needed stability to a team that's been searching for an identity. But recent statements from the big man have sent shockwaves through the Bulls organization and fan base alike. In a post-practice interview yesterday, Vucevic dropped this bombshell. "Nikola, how are you feeling about the team's direction heading into next season?" Vucevic, "Look, I love Chicago and I've given everything I have to this team. But I'd be lying if I said I wasn't concerned about where we're headed. The front office talks about competing, but the moves we're making, I just don't know if they align with that goal. It's frustrating, you know?" Wow. Those are some strong words from a player who's typically been diplomatic in his public statements. But what exactly is Vucevic referring to? Let's break down the Bulls' recent moves and the context surrounding this situation. Over the past 3 seasons, the Bulls have been stuck in basketball purgatory. They're not bad enough to land a high lottery pick, but they're not good enough to make a deep playoff run either. This middling performance has led to growing frustration among fans and, apparently, players as well. The Bulls front office, led by Art Raskarniovas, has preached patience and a commitment to building a competitive team. But their actions have sometimes seemed at odds with this stated goal. Let's look at some of the moves that might be causing Vucevic's doubts. The DeMar DeRozan situation. DeRozan has been the Bulls' best player since joining the team, but he's also 34 years old and doesn't fit the timeline of a rebuilding team. The Bulls have been noncommittal about offering him a contract extension, leading to speculation that they might let him walk in free agency. This uncertainty around a key player could be a major factor in Vucevic's concerns. The Zach LaVine trade rumors. Zach LaVine, another cornerstone of the Bulls roster, has been the subject of persistent trade rumors. While the team hasn't pulled the trigger on a deal, the constant speculation can't be good for team morale. If the Bulls are serious about competing, why are they entertaining offers for their best young player? The Bulls have been relatively quiet in free agency over the past couple of years, opting for minor additions rather than splashy signings. While this approach can be prudent, it doesn't exactly scream win now to a veteran like Vucevic. Chicago has struggled to find a consistent answer at the point guard position. From Lonzo Ball's injury woes to the revolving door of stopgap solutions, the lack of stability at such a crucial position has to be concerning for a player like Vucevic who relies on solid playmaking to maximize his effectiveness. Now, it's important to note that Vucevic isn't blameless in the Bulls' struggles. His production has dipped slightly since joining the team, and he's had his share of defensive lapses. But his frustration is understandable given the team's lack of clear direction. Personally, I think the Bulls need to pick a lane. Either go all in on competing with this core or commit to a full rebuild. The worst thing they can do is continue to tread water in the middle of the pack. But what do you think? What should the Bulls do in response to Vucevic's comments? Let me know in the comments below. Now, let's take a moment to consider Vucevic's perspective in all of this. He's 32 years old, in the prime of his career, and likely wants to compete for a championship sooner rather than later. He's been through a rebuild before with the Orlando Magic, and it's understandable that he might not have the patience for another one at this stage of his career. Vucevic has been a model of consistency throughout his career, averaging a double-double in 8 of his 12 NBA seasons. He's expanded his game to become a threat from beyond the arc, making him a valuable modern big man. But despite his individual success, team success has largely eluded him. In his entire career, Vucevic has only been to the playoffs 3 times, never making it past the first round. So when he looks at the Bulls' current situation, he's likely thinking about his legacy and his chances of competing for a title. If he doesn't see a clear path to contention in Chicago, it's natural for doubts to creep in. This situation also raises larger questions about the NBA's competitive landscape. With the rise of super teams and the increasing disparity between contenders and rebuilding teams, it's becoming harder for teams like the Bulls to chart a path to contention. Do they need to bottom out completely to have a shot at landing a transformative talent? Or is there a way to build a contender through smart drafting, player development, and strategic additions? These are the questions that Karniovas and the Bulls front office are grappling with, and Vucevic's comments have now brought them into the public spotlight. So, what happens next? Well, training camp is just around the corner, and all eyes will be on the Bulls to see how they handle this situation. Will they have a heart-to-heart with Vucevic to address his concerns? Will they make a splashy move to show their commitment to winning? Or will they stay the course and hope that their plan eventually bears fruit? One thing's for sure, the pressure is now on the Bulls front office to clarify their vision for the team's future. Vucevic's comments have opened a can of worms that can't simply be ignored. As for Vucevic himself, it'll be interesting to see if he expands on his comments or if the team tries to downplay the situation. But regardless of what happens next, his willingness to speak out has given us a rare glimpse into the frustrations that can simmer beneath the surface of an NBA team. And that's where we'll leave things for now. This story is far from over, and you can bet we'll be keeping a close eye on any developments coming out of Chicago. What do you think about Vucevic's comments? Do you agree with his assessment of the Bulls' direction? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more NBA news and analysis. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Until next time, keep your head in the game and your eyes on the court.